Let's go. Hey everybody, my next guest is a comedy veteran that you may have seen on the Howard Stern Show, the Jim Brewer Show, and Artie Lange's right-hand man on the Artie Lange Show. He's been making audiences laugh for decades with his sharp wit, lovable personality, and unforgettable stories. He'll be here on Long Island at Governor's Giggle Room with Tony Walker and friends. Big show that we're producing here at the Governor's Comedy Podcasts. I'll be there. It's going to be a blast. We got a lot of great comics on the bill, and here he is to tell us all about it. The one and only Mike Bocchetti. Mike, what's up, bud?
Hey, Don, first of all, thanks for having me. I love doing stuff with you and Tony. It's always fun because, I'm interested in the show because, I was looking at the comics that are on there. I don't know them, but I was reading their bios. It's going to be a fun show because one guy's like a 30-year Army veteran just doing comedy.
Yeah, but Joe Pacino.
That's going to be fun, right? And, and the girl?
I
don't know how to say it.
Alec Quinn, and she studies. She's an archaeologist. She studies fossils and things like that, and that's her day job. And then she also does comedy. So she's great. They're both coming from DC. They're both part of Washington DC. So she actually works in the Smithsonian.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and she's handles fossils and all kinds of crazy shit, like dinosaurs and stuff like that. And and Joe, he also contributes on the news and stuff like that. He's an expert. He used to work in the Pentagon. And he works on all kinds of foreign affairs. I think he's an expert in Gaza and Palestine and Israel and all that stuff. So he's but he's from Queens. He's a New York guy, Joe. And he also used to be, when he was younger, coming up, he was trying out in comedy, worked with Joan St. Onge and all them, back in the 90s. And then
I might have met him out there. I don't know if I met him because that's when I started in the 90s. But was he based in New York then?
Yeah, I think he was based out of New York. I'm not sure if he was doing what clubs he was doing, if he was working on mainly Long Island or Queens, or if he was out and about and where you would have seen him. Yeah, but Joe Pacino, he'll be there. It's going to be cool for everyone to meet him and kind of bridge that gap because I think DC, their comedy scene is starting to pop a little bit. They're starting to get some good comics coming out of there. So I think it'll be cool, good opportunity for them to work with us and for us to work with them.
It'll be awesome because I know when we were talking to you today, you go to North Carolina a lot. I went to North Carolina and did comedy in Wilmington, North Carolina years ago.
Oh yeah, I love Wilmington.
And it's pretty far down because it's by Cape Fear. It's way down. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So it took forever to get there. I did a couple of gigs there at the Hilton Hotel with Buddy Flip, just going back to 96.
Damn, yeah. Shout out to Buddy Flip, man.
And I at the time, they might have got more progressive, because when I went there back in 96, I seen statues that said, "In memory of our beloved war heroes," right? And I'm thinking, Vietnam, the Gulf Wars. It said Daughters of the American Confederacy, 1996. I'm like, whoa.
The last time I was in Wilmington, it was a little more progressive than that. I didn't see any stars and bars.
But you know what Buddy did? He's such a character. They were real nice people, right? And they invited us to have dinner with them afterwards. So we're sitting at the table, and listen what he says to them. He goes, "You guys have a lot of statues for something you lost," right? And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh no!
Here we go."
Some Cletus is in the back of a pickup truck loading a double-barrel shotgun up now. But it wasn't like that at all. They were laughing at it. I'm like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. Wilmington became kind of the hotbed for the North Carolina movie scene for a little while.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they shot a lot of film over there, right?
Yeah, they were calling it Wilmywood for a while.
Well.
Yeah, and then
I like North Carolina because it's kind of weird. It's not that. I mean, I think it was about 14 hours to get there from where we were, because normally it took about 11, but we had to drive a few hours into North Carolina, right?
Yeah, because Wilmington's further out. Yeah, so for me, I would go to Raleigh. And to get from here to Raleigh, from Long Island to Raleigh, normally takes me 9 hours, 10, depending on stops and traffic.
It's weird because when you think you're down south, a lot of people think of Arkansas. You know what I mean? And the
Right.
thing
Yeah.
is, like, North Carolina's really not that far when you think about it. And sometimes I kind of feel like it's on the East Coast almost.
It's like the beginning of the South. Once you get to North Carolina, because you're going through Delaware, and then you get to Virginia. You Delaware, Maryland, then you get to go through D.C., then you get to Virginia, and then you start to see all the Civil War stuff happen that happened in Virginia, and then you start to get like further and further into the South, and then North Carolina to me is like the first. And this isn't the official thing. It's just from in my perspective. That's when I start to. It's like the beginning of the South because it's not certain parts of North Carolina could be really like how y'all doing? Y'all
Oh
come
yeah,
back.
because like, but it's weird because like some people in Port Jeff or even people in South Jersey think they live in Alabama.
Or if you go upstate New York, you start to feel like you're somewhere else. But
They
yeah, I
think they're
mean,
like, it's like they think they're like in Birmingham, Alabama, and meanwhile they're like in New Jersey still. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's definitely rednecks everywhere. That's one thing I learned, man.
Oh, I was going to ask you, Don, when you did comedy were you in the 80s or 90s?
I was in the '90s, so I started doing comedy in 1998 and
Okay,
the summer of '98, and then
yeah,
I stopped in like early 2000s.
well, because I was going to ask you, you probably might have come across some comedians that I started with that were still around. Uh, I'm trying to think of his name. Lenny, I forgot his name. Not Lenny Marcus. It was another Lenny from Long Island.
Oh
Horowitz.
yeah, yeah, I love Lenny Marcus. He was great. I'm not sure Lenny Horowitz. When I started out, the guys. So I was mainly doing like open mics, and that back then open mics were a bigger deal. It was like an actual
Oh yeah,
audience. Yeah,
I remember like I went to the brokerage open mic back in '93, and it was a house full of regular people.
yeah. Regular people would come out to see the open mics, and we would have a headliner, and the
No, even on
headliner.
Tuesdays at Governor's, regular people would come and see the open mic show.
Dude, it was such a great time for comedy in the late '90s because it wasn't as saturated, or it wasn't like there wasn't a Netflix special every other week, and
I
so
know. Oh, did
people.
you do Fast Eddie's
Yeah, I remember Fast Eddie's.
in Huntington? I love that room.
Yeah, yeah. But for
Eddie
me,
was awesome. He passed away, I heard recently.
yeah, I did hear that as well. Now that I
He
think
was
about
such a sweet guy. I was afraid of him. I thought he was, a wise guy, but he wasn't. He's just a regular guy, right? He
it.
looked like that kind of guy, though, really, right? But Eddie
Yeah,
was just like, and they called him Fast Eddie. I was thinking, oh no, but he was just like a civilian, really cool guy.
yeah. Shout out, rest in peace, Fast Eddie, and that was a great time, man. There was a lot of great clubs, and like I said, back then the headliners for the open mics were guys like that you might know, like Greg Vaccarello. You know Greg
Oh, I
Vaccarello?
know, I love him. He's in Vegas now.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. Joe Starr was another
Oh
one that
yeah,
was head.
Joe. I think moved down south, right?
I believe so, but shout out to him and shout out to Greg Vaccarello and Paul Bond used to do a
Well, I don't
lot.
know forever. Right? He's a character,
Yeah,
really.
he's the best Paul Bond. He's actually in the movie Comic Sans that we're doing. He
Oh, really?
plays. Yeah,
I know Bonds was a good friend of Brewer at one time. I think he
yeah,
was
he
still.
used to tour with Brewer, part of the Brewer band when Brewer was like doing the rock band thing, and he would go around and have the live band, and Paul would open up for Brewer like as a
Wow,
comic, and then be join the band and be like his lead guitar player.
that's what I love about Brewer because he's one of the only comics you know that can open for like a heavy metal band. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
dude.
Like that's the kind of job Sam Kennison with Ice would have had him, or right or wrong, right?
Exactly, and Brewer's passion and love for metal music and his impressions of those guys, like when he does AC/DC or Metallica, yeah, he does like all
Well,
that
a
stuff.
great guest. Like a couple of people
Oh
with great
yeah,
openings for heavy metal. Those three, like
yeah,
Kennison, Dice, Brewer, or Gas. Like Louis Anderson would have tanked in front of them. Oh no, they would have like
yeah. They wouldn't
they
have been
would
able.
ate Louis Anderson up. Am I right or
Yeah,
wrong?
because you
Up
have to have
there.
the energy and the love for it, and you have to be one of them. So if you're opening up for a metal band, the audience has to know that you're one of them. That you're a metalhead too. You can't just go out there and go, "Hey, everybody, how you doing tonight? Hey, nice shoes," but you're gonna get
Oh no,
roasted.
you can't have like some generic hack opens. Oh no, don't eat them up.
Exactly, man.
You know what's horrible? I seen Andrew Dice Clay a couple of times. I seen him back in 1990 at the Garden. I
Right.
seen him in 2000 at the Garden. I seen him at Caroline's, and I got to meet him a bunch of times. When I seen him in 1990 at the Garden, Eddie Griffin opened for him,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you know what sucked? Eddie Griffin came out in a white tuxedo. He was funny, but after a few minutes, the crowd turned on him.
Yeah, I mean
They
that,
were,
that
they were, you know what happened? Here's what happened. He was doing okay, Don, right? And some guy yelled out, "You suck, bring on Andy." And it started a whole avalanche.
because Andrew Dice Clay was one of the first real rock star comedians, right? He
Oh,
was a
yeah.
rock star and looked at as a rock star. So it's similar to if you go to, let's say you went to a Slayer concert or something like that. The opening band is going to get shitted on and booed off the stage because no one's there to see the opening act,
Now,
and like you can get away with that with other mediums, like where they'll respect the opener, or they'll, you know, you could gain new fans if you are the opener, but opening for somebody who has cult like status or is a phenomenon and people are coming out solely for that, and he also encourages that kind of rude
oh, yeah.
behavior. So I think even though Eddie Griffin is a great comedian, he's hilarious. It doesn't shock me that he got booed.
No, because
Not then.
you know who else opened for a while, and he's a Long Island legend, Mike Grief.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't heard that
Opened the
name in a
Dice
long.
years ago,
Yeah, Mike
right?
Grief.
And no Dice told Grief years ago, he goes, "My fans could be animals. If they stole, you tear them to shreds and let them have it." He said that, he goes, they said, if they start in with you, eat them up and then tear them a new butt up there. They'll love it. Don, in fact, Artie's crowd could be brutal too years ago.
Oh yeah, he's got the same type of thing because he's got a cult following. People love Artie, and yeah, yeah. It would be tough to
Don,
open for him.
I can curse on here, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, what do you call it? Because I opened for Artie at the Borgata years ago, right? And somebody yelled, "You fat fuck." That's what they yelled at me.
Wow.
So you know what I said? You know I'm fat? Because every time I fuck your mother, she feeds me sandwiches.
That's a great comeback, man.
And you know what happened? And shut that idiot up.
And it probably won the crowd over. You probably got a huge
Oh, and
pop.
nobody else heckled me after that, right?
Yeah.
Don, I got to tell you a story. One of the most brutal gigs we ever had was in 2004. Remember December of 2004? There was a really brutal storm here.
Right. Yeah.
Like early December 2004.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
We did a gig
Like
at
every
the
weekend.
Electric Factory in Philly, which is a rowdy place to begin with. Listen to this lineup. It was John Melendez, Artie, right? Nick DiPaolo, Otto, myself, and Sal from the Howard Stern Show.
Wow, that is a freaking mega lineup, mega Howard Stern.
And we got stuck in traffic, right? It took us 5 hours because of the snowstorm, right? And we get there, the crowd was all white trash animals. People getting pulled out, getting arrested during Artie's show. How crazy is that, right? So they started in with me, and I fucking ate them up.
There
It
you
didn't
go.
bother me, right? Otto almost cried and let him have it so much. How bad is that?
Wow.
And the thing is that, but he still ate them up. You know him, right? He wouldn't put up with it either, really, right?
Yeah.
And what happened after that was the Apollo liked me after that. He seen how I taught him a new one, because Nick is another guy that would tell you a new one if you
Yeah,
went
Nick.
after him.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Nick. Yeah, he's.
One time we were doing a gig in New Jersey at Rascals, and someone, a woman, like, like that. And he goes, that just sounded the truth sticking to your ass. As a result of it, right? Oh, we worked in Melendez. John said that, what do you call it, Nick? No fist fights, because Nick was notorious for getting fist fights and brawls.
Yeah, he's old school. Where's Nick DiPaolo from? Is he a Boston guy? Because I feel like
Yeah,
he's an old school.
I love
tough.
him because
Yeah.
he was such a great friend to me. He's brutally honest, and I love him.
Yeah, yeah,
And he's down in, I think, Georgia now, or down south for a while, right, for years.
yeah.
And he was from Boston, one of 5 or 6 kids, and his dad was a Marine on top of it.
Oh wow, yeah. He was brought up rough.
So But you know what's really crazy? I worked with Nick the day before New Year's Eve at the Mohegan Sun, right? And had stuff to do the next day with Sal because they were doing a New Year's Eve party from Sal's house that was going to be broadcast on Howard's network, which we did. It was awesome. So Nick let me stay at his house upstate when he lived there. His house looked like the Godfather's house in Lake Tahoe. He made it look like that on purpose.
Damn.
He did, right?
Nick DiPaolo, baby. It's good. It's good to be Nick DiPaolo sometimes, huh?
Sal's, what do you call it? Christmas, New Year's Eve party is phenomenal. His whole family was there, some Italy and people, right? His mother had like a huge feast, like the Roman Empire would. You know what I mean, right? So I walk in, and his mom offered me food, and I forgot with the Italians, you don't dare say no. So I was about to say, I'm not hungry. You know, Sal grabbed me. He goes, they'll murder you.
Manja, manja.
And then, you know, when else happened, we had such a great night that night. Sal, you know how Sal loves playing pranks on people and everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He told this old man, it was like, Paul, his name was, it was his father's friend for years, that I grew up in the same village in Italy he did. How crazy is that, right? And it brought tears to the old man's eyes because he thought I was from his hometown in Italy. And I didn't, and Sal goes, the old man said, how come he's not talking Italian? He goes, he has a sore throat. That's what he said, meaning me. So he goes, Mike loves opera. And he goes, can you sing? He started singing and Sal threw a bucket of water in his face. He started singing. The old man went crazy, right? And then listen to this. He did another prank that night. One of his that family's relatives was there from Rome, a young kid, like, what do you call it, from Rome, who spoke very little English. And at this time, I had my hair slicked back, was wearing a jogging outfit type thing. And Sal told that kid I was a very powerful mobster in America. That's what he told him, right? That kid was terrified of me. He made him scared shitless of me. And Sal said to the kid in Italian, you got to meet him. He'll be insulted if you don't say hi to him. That's what he said, meaning me. The kid's shaking like a leaf after that, right? And at the end of the night, they told him, and the kid was like laughing now. Thank God he left it off, right? He liked playing prank, but and he has a great family. I love them so much because his mom and dad are great people. So is his sisters. Tony Landolfi, I love him too because Tony Landolfi's family is great. I love his dad. His dad's so funny on when they go on fishing trips.
Shout out to Tony Landolfi and
have you ever met Tony's dad or no?
I never met the dad, but I'm going to Tony's party. Actually, by the time this airs, the party might have already happened. But yeah, I'm going to his party, so I'm sure his dad's going to be there. I'm looking forward to meeting the dad.
His mom is amazing. I love her.
Yeah, I'm psyched.
I met his mom a couple of times years ago, and she's the whole family is awesome because, you know why I love them, right? They're real Italians because they're from Italy, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, they're not like these fake internet fucking goombas that are over the top and they're like, oh yeah, Vito, oh yeah, the spaghetti, you know what I mean, right?
Right, yeah.
Not jerk-offs. You know what I mean? They're European, Italian, much different kind of people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, when people in Italy see those morons carrying on like this, they're laughing at them.
Right, yeah. Well, it's different. It's a different type of culture. The New York Italians, like, because even Italians in other places, like there's in Cleveland, I think there's a big Italian place, and then also and all over Ohio, there's a lot of Italian culture there.
Rhode Island too.
Long Island, but Long Island's similar to the kind of New York.
Rhode Island too, right?
Oh yeah, Rhode Island has a big Italian. Yeah, so there's like communities of Italian community, but they're different than the New York Italian communities. The New York, I don't even. It is Italian culture, but it's all. If I always called it like Brooklyn, it feels boroughs. It feels like hey, how you doing over there? It's not like that. In Ohio, they're not walking.
No, even upstate Italian people aren't like that. No.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, but it's crazy, like how, if we went to Italy and asked for pasta and chicken, and look at us like we have 5 heads, you know what I mean? There's no such thing over there as that, and some of the food. And the thing is, but if you weren't there to live on vacation, right? They cook for their taste over there. Am I right or wrong? Right?
Right. Yeah.
Or they probably if you went to like a touristy restaurant, they would cook for American taste. But even then, I doubt it. And the thing is, that food is supposed to be phenomenal because they have no preservatives.
Right. Now, with the where you grew up, you good, Mike?
Yeah, Don, I got a
Okay.
phone call, but I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Well, you grew up in Staten Island. That's kind of a Italian neighborhood as well. Are they like that there? Do you
Well,
get?
it was where I grew up. It's crazy because it's mixed, kind of mixed. We had like mostly Italians, but we had some people from the Middle East family that moved in. But mainly, yeah. Well, the next neighborhood over was really loaded with Italian people because it was really crazy over there. I mean, it's like it was so much fun. But some of them were nice people. Some of them are goombas over the top. It's like
How do you
everybody
feel?
out here thought they were Donnie Brasco at one time or another.
How do you feel like you fit it? Because you're an Italian guy, and you're Italian American. You talk about these kind of Goomba types. Where do you fit in with them? Do you go to the festivals and all that kind of
No, you know
feasts and
what?
all that stuff?
But I like no, you know what? Because I love my grandfather's family and Sal's family. They remind me of them so much because they weren't over the top with anything. You know what I mean? They wanted to be American citizens and fit in. You know what I mean? Because like my great grandfather came from Italy, my grandfather's dad, and his first name is Guglielmo. How Italian is that?
Oh
You know
wow,
what I mean,
yeah.
right? Cianci was his last name, and Guglielmo. But you know what happened? He wanted to Americanize himself and his kids because and the thing is, he called himself Willie. How crazy! How American is Willie?
So you went from Guillermo to Willie?
Yeah, and but the thing is, like, but you know what's crazy about him? And I totally love him for this. What do you call it? He couldn't find work when he got here because he didn't speak the language, and they were very racist towards Italian too at that time. You know what I mean? It was like,
Right, like
and the
50s and
thing is,
60s.
but you know what he did? He went out, got a shoe shine box, and shined the shoes of wealthy and well-to-do people, and made a living for himself.
Wow.
He
Wow.
didn't sit on his ass. He didn't do criminal activity. You know what I mean? He just did the right thing, and I admire him because he kind of inspires me. Because I told my mom I wish he would have made the American dream come true, and then my mom said to me, "He did." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "He came here by himself,
Right, right.
and that's
Yeah,
part of the dream."
exactly. Came here, became a citizen, worked here and lived in the country and was able
But
to
how
raise
cool
his
was that, Don? He didn't sit on his ass or one handouts from anybody. He found a way to make money without doing anything bad.
That's a
Hold
beautiful
on.
thing.
Yeah, Mom, I'm online. No. Sorry, Don.
No Hey, everybody, worries.
Hey,
this episode is brought to you by Trensjackers. Trensjackers is where you can get streetwear for the bold.
America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Go to trendsjackers.etsy.com. That's TRENDZJACKERS.etsy.com. Go to the store, get your gear today. But yeah, man, I mean, you talk about like those kind of going on those tours when you have Nick DiPaolo and Sal and Artie and all these guys. And it was when the Howard Stern show was in its heyday.
oh,
And
yeah, because, I mean, the first time I went on Howard was 2005, right before he went over to Sirius.
right.
He had 20 million people listening that day. How crazy is that?
Dude, that's huge. And how was Howard towards you? Was
Oh, it's crazy because here's what happened. I thought he was going to go in there and tear me to shreds because he loved ripping people up sometimes, right?
right.
So I was nervous. Sal and Richard Christie told me before I got in there, they go, when he talks, just listen to him. Don't cut him off. Let him finish. Speak to when spoken to, and just be yourself. Don't try to be jokey. So, what do you call it? He looks at me. He goes, when was the last time you had a woman? He broke my balls, so I go, I'll put it this way, Howard. Let's put it this way: presidents get shot more than I get laid. And he started laughing, right?
That's a
Then he
good
started
line.
talking to me, and then this is really crazy, right? His hairdresser, Ralph, there was an obnoxious moron, right?
Yeah, he just
Called up,
recently passed. Yeah, God
said to
bless.
me, I don't like this guy, Howard. He's not funny. Howard ripped into him. You know what he said? He's a funny guy. He's hanging. He's with us.
Oh,
And Ralph
nice.
hung up because he couldn't take it.
That's cool that Howard had you back on that.
And then, what do you call it? What happened after that was I sent him something for the holidays because it was like April of 2005. I sent him uh, a vintage Mad magazine that I had. And I know how much he loved Mad magazine growing up
Yeah,
like I did, right?
right.
He sent me a letter. How crazy is that? To my house. He goes, "Hey Mike, he was so much fun." He goes, "You know what? Mad was an internal part of my childhood. Like it was yours. I appreciate this so much. Love Howard."
Wow,
But he's a
that's
great
cool.
interviewer.
He
He's
is.
so
He's
much
one of the
different.
best.
People like tearing him to shreds now, but you know what? I Here's what happened in my book, right? Okay. For years people besmirched him. All the A-list shitheads thought, he was a nobody, you know what I mean? They thought he was just some phenomenon, whatever, right? They didn't really respect him. And he got tired of it. And not only that, he evolved as a person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he could not be the same Howard he was 35 years ago. You know what I mean,
But are
right?
you disappointed, like as a Howard fan? Are you disappointed that he changed so much? Like he didn't just evolve; he like completely changed. Like he went from you know like one side completely to the other, where he's talking about um, he's saying "fuck your freedoms" and with the vaccines and all that kind of stuff, and he just seems to have really gone. He said he doesn't want anybody who voted for Trump to listen to his show, and
Wow.
he just seems like he's gone.
Before he wouldn't have cared. He wouldn't even thought like that. I know.
There's a time where he would have been making fun of like a lot of this stuff that's going on in the world. And now he's
Well,
like,
you know what though? Another person who's kind of like that is Kimmel.
yeah, Kimmel's another one who completely flipped the
I
script of
mean,
what he used to
Kimmel
be.
was like the man show, woman on trampolines. You know what I mean? Him and Scarola, right? Like,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he like turned like into a feminist. Like, oh no, we mustn't treat women like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
what is this bonehead talking about? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's just weird how like those two guys in particular, but there's a lot of them completely went from one side of the
Well,
pendulum to the other.
I,
Like
I
it's
think
just weird.
I think some of these things are dying now because late night TV is just about over with. Am I right or wrong? It really is.
It's a dying breed. I think with there's so many other options for people to watch,
No,
and
I don't even think have that many people watching anymore. I mean,
no,
like
nobody's watching late night anymore. It has no
even at their peak, what
relevance.
they'd have that many. I think they had like 5 million people, tops 6 million. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah,
Which is a lot, but I mean, it's not 40 million.
I think what Hollywood, dude. I think people are so sick of Hollywood in general and actors telling us what to do and we should think that people are pushing back. And I think it's like you look at De Niro, that Robert guys like Robert De
Oh no,
Niro, and
because
where
first
people,
of all, I'm
yeah,
annoyed at him because okay, right, he's going after Trump. You know what? First of all, right, he said they're all going to run the country's Canada. Okay, if he had that much, first of all, he's a billionaire, De Niro, right? A
yeah,
lot of clout. If
right.
he feels that much against Trump, why don't he run for office?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think too, if you're an entertainer, once you throw it out there, that you're that adamant about one side or the other, to the point where you're going to the courthouse like De Niro did, and saying fuck Trump and all that stuff. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. To me, I don't want to see the entertainers do that because it taints them, and you
And you
can
know what it is? Entertain.
Right.
Stay out of politics.
Yeah,
Your own way.
exactly, man. And I think that's what's happening. I think that's why we're seeing less people going out to the movies. We're seeing less people watching these kind of entertainment tonight shows and late night shows where they're glorifying the actors and they're just glorifying each other. Even the award shows, no one's watching the Oscars or the Grammys or any of this shit anymore.
No, because Joe Pesci was the best when he won his Oscar. Thank you, and
Yeah,
that's it. You know what I
right,
mean, right?
exactly. Just quick and easy, thank you. And he walked away. Now they all
Oh,
have
what's his name? The English guy. He ripped into people with the award show. Ricky
Oh yeah,
Gervais, right?
yeah, that was great. The fuck's his
He let
name?
he let them know it's fakes and phonies they won on. That's why.
That was kind of when it all turned. That was all to me. That's when the pendulum starts swinging the other way. Was when he uh presented. I think that was at the Emmys, and
And the thing is, but he has a ton of money. He don't care. Am I right or wrong?
oh
Right?
yeah, and it still hurt his career. I think to some degree, but I think people still come out. I think he still has an audience. I don't think it completely canceled him, but you don't see him making movies anymore.
No, it's not
You
like
know,
he got Fatty Arbuckle. You know what I mean?
yeah, Fatty. Great shout out to great throwback to Fatty Arbuckle, who was probably the
But
first canceled
Don, have you know what's crazy?
actor ever.
I watched some of his work. He's brilliant.
Right? Yeah.
He's beyond brilliant for the silent movie era,
Fatty
right? Beyond
Arbuckle.
brilliant.
Fatty Arbuckle was one of the first. We don't hear about him, but like during the Chaplin era, he was right there with Charlie Chaplin.
He's a
He
millionaire, one of the first millionaires as a comic in the 20s. And the thing is,
yeah,
like,
he gave Buster Keaton his big break.
and those guys are great. Harold Lloyd hanging from that clock, you know.
Yeah,
It's like,
man. Harold Lloyd is another one you don't hear a lot about. You might see the clip of him hanging on, but he did so much for physical comedy in the silent era and comedy.
but you
And
wonder some
Fatty
really.
Arbuckle, dude, he was the first one that brought in Buster Keaton. Buster
Oh
Keaton was
yeah,
like a small part in one of his movies. He like walks past Buster and he looks at him and Buster's, Buster Keaton's famous for never smiling. I think that's the only time he smiled was in this first movie with Fatty.
but you wonder something really crazy. He what was I going to say? I forgot now.
You're talking
The thing
about
in those
how,
days.
Ricky Gervais, by the way, is the guy we talk about. Ricky Gervais.
Oh
Was
yeah,
yeah. But back to Fatty Arbuckle, yeah, because the silent treatment era, the
yeah. But
silent
you know
movie
what?
era.
I forgot who it was. Uh, Tried to bring him back to life again, and he was starting to make movies, talking movies. But unfortunately, he died of a major heart attack in his 50s, I think. I'm like, oh, man.
Who Chaplin?
Oh, no, Fatty Arbuckle.
Oh yeah. Oh, they did try to bring Fatty back.
Some
Yeah,
people, people, black, that were powerful people try to bring him back and put him in stuff, but and let him direct stuff under not his own name. You know what I mean?
right. So if people don't know who Fatty Arbuckle is, Fatty Arbuckle was a huge comedic movie star back in the silent movie era, and he got blacklisted for allegedly raping a girl or something like that. But it took what you find out is that was completely made up, and
He was found innocent, and
he was
by
found
that time they
innocent.
ruined him because, and the thing is, the only reason I know who he is, my grandmother used to call me Fatty Arbuckle because I was a fat kid growing up, right?
Right, right.
And I didn't know she died in 1987. I had no idea who he was till I Googled him, years
Yeah,
later, right? And I'm like, that's who he is, right? I mean, she was born 1918, and she was only a kid when he was blessed, you know what I
yeah,
mean, right? But it was from her time period that
right.
she would know who he is. People from those days know him, you know what I mean, right?
Oh, dude,
That's what I was going to say. You know what's really crazy? A lot of Gen Z
right.
are interested in silent films and things from years ago, believe it or not.
I sure hope so because I get worried about the history of certain things, whether it's comedy
They love
or
retro stuff. I'm telling you, Don.
yeah, because a lot of it gets lost. Like these kids, you ask them who the Three Stooges are, they'll look at you like you're crazy. Yeah, you know what I mean. You ask them who Laurel and Hardy are, they'll look at you like you're nuts.
Oh,
But if but
but you know what's crazy? It's funny you mention that. I worked in a gas station when I was in my 20s, right?
right,
And some people from Chile started working there. We had a little bit of an gap because I didn't speak Spanish, didn't really speak English, right? So one day I took out a picture of Curly from the Three Stooges, right?
Yeah.
And he looked at him like he knew who he was, right? So I go like this, right, certainly, no, right? And he
Right.
goes, the Dooges, the Dooges. That's what he goes.
Uh, yeah, that's great,
How
man.
funny is that? And they knew because they were worldwide. He knew. He goes. He knew. He looked at him like he knew who he was. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
And
man.
then I just went, why certainly, no. He went, and he went, Dooges, the
Yeah,
Dooges.
that was such a great time for comedy because it was like figuring it all out and movies were new and all that kind of stuff and especially the early stuff. I just love it. Buster Keaton's my favorite. I love Harold Lloyd as
Oh,
well.
genius! Because
Yeah,
they are and untouchable. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, and my favorite things in the movies. I know some people may think it's childish, but I love that pie fights and food fights.
yeah, the old school shit, the slapstick stuff. That's what was great about it. I mean, Charlie Chaplin was probably king of that stuff. But and if you look, dude, if Buster Keaton, he was so ahead of his time. He was doing special effects and
Oh,
thinking
I've seen his
outside.
effects.
Yeah,
They
I
blew my
mean,
mind. Like Fatty Arbuckle's effects and Busted stuff, right?
yeah.
Was like light years ahead of everybody
They
else.
were so far ahead of everybody else, and they get no credit for really what they
You know why
did.
people probably were afraid of it? They were like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Right, exactly.
You know what it is? Because especially then, if you didn't fit into the normal mainstream, it gave me a hard time.
It's like that now too, man. If you start thinking
Oh,
outside
are
the
you kidding
box,
me? 30
people are gonna look at you funny,
since
no matter what.
1992, I had a hard time in comedy because I didn't fit into that like airplane hackbit
Right,
crowd.
exactly. You have a different style, a different
I had
stage
different look, and
presence.
I
Yeah,
didn't look like that blonde-haired, blue-eyed Gaffigan type. You know what I mean? And
right.
I like Jim. I'm saying that how he looks,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Jim's a
that
great
white, like you know, I didn't fit into that.
yeah.
But
And I think that's working for you. I think that that you have a different look and that you have
I
the
think
one
people
liner
will accept
comedy.
him now too, because in the early '90s, it'd be like, "What the hell is this?" You know, I'd hear that then. You know what I mean,
Right,
right?
right.
But now, after what do you call it? Like, especially after President Jimbo, young people are like, "Whoa, we love Jimbo." You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly, man.
but
No,
Don, I've been here going because they called me, and I don't know what kind of havoc they're wreaking in my house now. You know?
oh, all right. But real quick before I let you go, dude, I just want to see how's the leg. If you could tell us the story,
Oh,
what
sure.
happened, how Christy Miller
Okay.
saved you, and
Here's what happened in my leg. What do you call it? Originally, I fell and fractured about 15, 20 years ago, and I walked in a boot for like 6 weeks with it.
right.
Right. After that, I fell a bunch of times, and then back in July, I was heading to do a gig in Atlantic City, fell in the express bus, couldn't get up. Right.
Wow,
Was in the hospital a few days, then came home again, helping my mom take the garbage out, fell again.
wow,
Right. Went to my sister's knee doctor, right, who was really helpful. He gave me an X-ray. He said I have major arthritis on the knee. He said if it gets any worse, I'm gonna have to get a knee replacement down the road. But he gave me a shot of cortisone, right?
right,
But the weird thing is, I've been doing physical therapy for months, right? I
right.
mean, I've been doing therapy at home twice a day for almost an hour now
Damn.
on my legs. You know what I mean, right? But the weird thing is, like some days I'll be like, "Whoa!" I'm like, I'll run a marathon. My legs feel fantastic, right?
Right.
And the next day I'm like, "Ah, motherfucker, this is killing me."
So you said you might be coming to the show, which we have set up was October 4th.
Yeah, I'm coming
At
with a walker probably.
Yes, and we're also thinking about having you sit at the table next to the stage if you
Yeah,
want.
that'll be cool, right?
Yeah, this way you don't have to worry about going up on the stage. If it's a
Yeah,
problem,
that's perfect.
you can stand right up at the table.
Are you going to go on the show yourself?
I will be there at the show.
I'm
Tony,
saying on stage.
I might introduce Tony. I might go on first, introduce Tony Walker, who it's Tony Walker and Friends. Me and Tony are partners in all this stuff.
Oh, nice. I'm
Shout out
trying
to
to see
Tony
him to
Walker.
stand up. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Um, having you there with with everybody that's going to be there. We have, like we said, with Joe Pacino, Alec Cross, also your boys,
Oh, the Cartazone brothers,
the
yeah.
Cartazone brothers. Those guys are hilarious. I think there's a
They
couple
sound
other
like gangsters
surprises.
from the 1930s.
We have this guy Andrew Fremder who's going to be showing up. He's going to fact check us.
Oh, really?
So that should be fun. Yeah. So Andy Fremder is going to fact check us, and then we have another guy coming. He's going to do 5 minutes. He's a blind musician, and he's
Wow.
always wanted to do stand up comedy. So we're going to get him his wish come true, and he
That's
will.
awesome.
Yeah, he'll do 5 minutes. So yeah, it's going to be a fun night. Everyone's got to come out. You get to see Mike Bocchetti in a walker, and and the star of Smiling Friends, President Jimbo, coming here. So I'm psyched.
Jimbo got his ass kicked in by the frog. That's what happened.
Exactly, exactly. So I'll let you get going. I know they're calling
Okay,
you.
thank you, Don.
Mike Bocchetti, you rock, buddy. Take care.
Have a
Man.
great day, sir. You, Don. Have
All
a
right,
great
man.
day. Thank you.
You got it. Mike Bocchetti, everybody. That was fun. We got Mike Bocchetti just jumped off. His mom's calling him. He's like, it's like, Mom, meatloaf, meatloaf, Mom. And I'm not sure why he was crying. I was going to ask him what's going on with the tears. I think it was an allergy or something. I don't think he was getting emotional, but I was trying to ask him. As you see, Michael, when we're talking, we just get into it. We don't know where the conversation is going to go. It goes all over the place. Um, and it's just always fun talking to the guy. I love Mike Bocchetti. That's why we keep bringing him back. This show coming up is going to be so cool. I'm going to put the poster up. So there's the poster. It's October 4th, live from the Giggle Room. Tony Walker and Friends with Joe Pacino, Mike Bocchetti, Alec Quinn, and a lot of other surprises. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there, and so I'm hoping to meet a lot of people. We really want to sell this thing out. So please come on out and enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Bocchetti, if you know him from Smiling Friends, or if you know him from the Artie Lange Show, or if you know him from Howard Stern, or from stand-up comedy, the guy's been around. He's super accessible, loves to talk to people. As you saw, he's a great guy. So come on out, check it out. It's going to be a blast. There's lots of other stuff I wanted to talk to him about, but he jumped off early. But you know what? His mom's calling him. What are you gonna do? So, in any case, check out Mike Bocchetti, his Instagram and everything. We're gonna put into the description below. So check that out. And yeah, check out Mike Bocchetti and all that good stuff. Tony Walker and Friends is what we're billing this, because Tony Walker's my boy. He's the man. He's my friend, one of my best friends, and this is his show with his friends. Even though I don't know if he's met half these people yet. But it's all good in the hood. All right, everybody. Also, follow me. Follow me on my Instagram page, DONversations _ Don Sill. And also follow me on TikTok and all the other things that I got going on, including Trends Jackers. This episode is brought to you by Trends Jackers. Yeah, go to trendsjackers.etsy.com, buy some of the gear. A lot of the stuff now is for USA 250. So next year is USA's birthday. So it's going to be 250 years since the Revolutionary War and 4th of July and the Declaration of Independence and all that stuff. So we're celebrating it with these shirts, 1776 to 2026. And 250 years. George Washington still number one, and we've been rocking since 1776. So buy a shirt, man. Have some fun. Support America. Support Trendsjackers. Support me. It's always good. So anyway, we will catch up with you guys soon. Leave your comments below if you have any. I would love to hear them, and I'll answer them in the next one. So all right, everybody. Deuces.